Hold on, I'm getting a call. My friends, my beautiful friends, I am so happy about Metroid Dread. I am over the moon. I am all smiles. I am just positively ecstatic. After all these years, we are not only getting a new Metroid and one that looks incredible, but we're getting Dread, the game that we all assumed was just completely dead for years. The game is releasing next to new hardware, which is something that we probably could have never even imagined would have happened, not in our wildest dreams. And Nintendo is marketing the heck out of the game. They are doing everything right. They are pushing and pushing and pushing and making sure that everyone knows exactly how awesome this game looks. I am so happy, but I am always one to look at both sides of a discussion. There's very little in this world that is just all good. There are little missteps here and there, and I think it's good to look at the good along with the slightly less good in every case. And that doesn't devalue the good stuff, it doesn't mean you're not happy with it. It's just an important part of the discussion. With all that said, I do have one thing I would like to say at this time. What is this? What is this? What is this, Nintendo? Why? Why did you do this, Nintendo? Why? What? Why? I shouldn't be seeing this. I'm not looking. Get it up. Get out of there. Go. Take it away. Okay, is it gone? All right. Okay, let's back up a little bit. As probably most of you know, I am quite spoiler phobic. And I know that this is one aspect of me and my personality that tends to annoy a lot of people. People all have different ideas, different opinions on what constitutes a spoiler. For some people, they don't care about spoilers at all. They see the game in the trailer, they don't care, they play it, whatever. For some people, it means like plot points, like, oh, this person dies or whatever, like that's a spoiler. But then for people like me, I don't even want to see, I want to get the idea of what the game is, but then I don't want to see every mechanic and every enemy, you know what I mean? I enjoy things so much better when I don't expect them whatsoever. I'm not just in it to play the game, I'm in it for the surprise, the way that the game presents itself to me. That's a part of the art form of games, in my opinion. And I was already bummed that Nintendo basically confirmed that the SAX parasite for Metroid Fusion is going to be in Dread. I mean, that's the main antagonist in Fusion, and I presumed that it died, and they're like, oh, this was the main antagonist in Fusion, but maybe it's not dead. And I'm like, okay, I didn't know that. How am I supposed to know that? Why would you tell me that? That would have been a surprise. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a deeper part of the story, and you can't even look at the story without revealing that because it's just so integral. I don't really know, because honestly, I've not been watching the trailers. I saw the initial reveal, and I have not watched anything since then because I just don't want to see it. I don't want to see the enemies that you fight. I don't want to see every single ability that you get. I want to go in fresh. I want to go in as blind as possible, And I thought I was fine. The game's like a month away from releasing. I thought I was good. As long as I don't watch any more trailers, there'd be nothing else would reach these two eyes. But then they posted a new trailer that you are seeing in the B-roll right now that I'm not watching. I'm not looking at it. I'm not gonna look at that. And this trailer revealed that Kraid would be in Metroid Dread. And of course, because it's a thing that happens on the internet and is about Metroid, I heard about it. It was all over the place. People talking about it, people tagging me, and it just, there's no possible way that I would have gotten away with not seeing it. But then it's like, okay, well, maybe they put it in the trailer, but they didn't expect everybody to, to blow the whole thing open and everything. Maybe they just were going to keep it in the trailer, and if you don't watch the trailer and you don't talk to anybody, then you're fine, right? No, because then they did this. Don't show it. Don't get it off of there. I don't want to look anymore. I mean, they tweeted about the darn thing. They just threw it out there. They were like, this is a piece of marketing material that we want you to see, that we want every single person interested in Metroid Dread to see. There's no getting away from it. And before you say it, I know a lot of people are like, well, that's what you get for being on the internet. Here's the thing, I'm an internet video guy. This is literally my job. I don't know, under normal circumstances, I could just stay off Twitter, but I can't. I literally cannot go on media blackout for this. And you can't just I can't just mute the word Dread or whatever, because I still need to know about stuff going on surrounding the game. And, of course, people talk about it without using the name. I Nintendo of America. They didn't use, I don't think they even used the name in the tweet, did they? They're just talking about it. And here's the thing. Here's the reason we're getting a whole ridiculous video on this topic. I just think this is too far. Like, I totally get the idea that Nintendo, you know, they want to reveal more than maybe I want to see, but there are plenty of people who don't mind. Like, I get that. Like, our sensibilities just do not line up. I just think this is too far. I think even just from a regular old marketing perspective, this was not really necessary. Marketing material is meant to sell people on the game. You know, it's meant to hype people up and get people interested. And sure, this kind of thing, it is hype. You know, it is exciting. Like, I think it's really awesome that Kraid is back in the game. But it's like, they're not selling anybody here. All they're doing is removing a fun aspect of the game that would have been a surprise for people. Like, nobody was sitting on this and being like, I don't know about Metroid Dread. Oh, wait a second, Kraid's in the game. Now I'm interested. You know what I mean? Like, that's when marketing goes too far. That's when spoilers go too far. When it's just not necessary in the slightest. All you're doing is removing from your game experience. Maybe it's not a massive removal. Maybe it's a relatively small thing, or it doesn't affect that many people. But still, you know what I mean? And I've heard a lot of arguments in favor of this move by Nintendo from a lot of the less spoiler-sensitive folks who get very annoyed with spoiler-sensitive folks like me. It's okay, I'm used to it. Probably the main one is, it's Kraid. This is a Metroid game. Of course Kraid's in it. And my answer there is just like, that's not necessarily true at all. Kraid is not in every game. I mean, you know, like, you can expect returning villains in Nintendo games, like, absolutely, but at least going from title to title, I'm not necessarily assuming that they've all survived. I thought I killed Kraid, you know? We fought him a couple times now. I thought maybe he's dead. He can't literally live forever. How many times can you watch a guy blow up before you can assume that they're actually dead? And like, even if Nintendo isn't great at these kinds of surprises, even if they are a little bit predictable in how they use their recurring villains, you know, like, okay, it's a Metroid game and Kraid's in it. That's really not like mind-blowing or anything, but I would say that the fact that those surprises are so not surprising, that means that you gotta at least let us have those. At least let us have that small, teeny tiny element of surprise in the context of the game. You know, like, was anyone really surprised when it turned out Ganondorf was behind Twilight Princess? Was that a big surprise to anyone? Or that Ganon was behind the events of Link to the Past? You know, oh, it's this other villain. No, it turns out it's Ganon. Like, it's not really that surprising, but at the very least, like, if Nintendo was just marketing it that way, if in the trailers for Twilight Princess they were just showing Ganondorf, and then going into the game, the game is trying to pretend that Ganondorf isn't there, then to reveal, oh my gosh, it's Ganondorf. You've completely removed even that tiny little shred of a predictable surprise. Another argument I've heard is, well, you know, this is a game. Kraid is an element of that game. It's a character in that game, so you gotta let Nintendo show off the game. You know, they're just showing you what the game is. And if Kraid's a character, you gotta see some Kraid. But that doesn't really hold water either, because Kraid is not a character. It's not a character at all. Kraid's just a monster. It's just a boss. You know, it's not like you're having dialogue with the thing. I mean, I assume. I bet money that you're probably not. You probably just walk into a room and, oh no, it's Kraid, and you fight Kraid. Like, it's something they could have easily not shown. It would have not impacted anything. The way the game looks, our opinion going into the game, or anything. It's just one small piece they could have just as easily not shown us. I was talking to Kane about this, and he made a really good comparison. You know, in Origami King, you go onto the cruise ship, and it's all scary. There's some sort of monster there, and something is stalking you, and you see stuff going by the window, and the toads are all, like, dead, and it's just like, it's really scary. And then you finally get to the deck, and it's like, oh, it's a giant blooper, and you gotta fight it. It's not scary at all, though, because we saw the blooper in the trailers. We knew what it was. Like, the game is trying to communicate something to us. It's like I said earlier about just it as an art form, as a piece of media. It is trying to build tension and present something to me in a certain way that's completely undermined by the fact that I already know what it is. I already know what this unseen monster is. And we don't know how Kraid will be presented in the game. You know, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe we see Kraid right at the beginning, and you see dialogue, or he stalks you the whole time or something. Like, I don't really know. Maybe it's not so bad, but if I go into the game and it's like, oh my gosh, this is a dark room. What's in here? Oh, is there a big scary boss? Oh my gosh, it's not just a big scary boss, it's Kraid. Like, it's gonna completely remove what the game was trying to give me. It will completely destroy the tension. Now it's just something that I'm waiting to come up. You know, it's a big surprise I'm just expecting to happen at any turn, you know? And here's the thing, I wouldn't be quite as sensitive to this sort of thing if I didn't know that Nintendo really does honestly have a problem with this sort of thing. I'm not the only person that thinks that they show off too much in the trailers. Pretty much every major Switch title has been advertised to such a crazy degree that it's like you see what the game is. You see everything about it. You see almost every single area and baddie. I'll bring up Origami King again. One of my complaints about that game is there's almost nothing in that game that I didn't already see in the trailers, that I didn't already know was gonna happen. There were almost no surprises in that game, because I saw everything. I saw all the levels and all the bad guys and everything. Nintendo showed off almost all of the captures in Super Mario Odyssey and all of the kingdoms. There were very few surprises left by the time I got to the game, and that kind of deflated a bit of that fun, that surprise, that sense of adventure going in. I found that I loved the game and the game was great, but it was like only as great and exciting as I thought it was going in based on the trailer. You wanna give people a taste and let them have the whole course when they get there. You don't want the meal to go basically exactly as a person expected, you know what I mean? Even though meals, it's not a great analogy. Meals aren't supposed to be surprising. You are supposed to kind of know you know what I'm talking about. And that's exactly why I've been avoiding the trailers, because I knew that Nintendo would just show off way too much. And yeah, it makes the game look really cool and exciting, but I don't want to get there and discover it's only as exciting as I saw in the trailers. So that's why I've been trying to avoid things. But then when they make it impossible to avoid, that's when it's a problem. But I suppose now I'm sort of talking around in circles. And once I start talking in circles, that's when you know that the unscripted video is coming to a close. So that's my thing. That's why I'm pretty annoyed by this. Don't show it. Stop showing it. Why would you keep showing it, Kane? Just because I gesture to the screen and say, look at this picture of Kraid, that doesn't mean you should put the picture of Kraid. This picture right here, look, Kraid. It's that tweet. It's the tweet Nintendo did. Don't do it! Well, let me know what you think about all this. Am I being silly? Are you being silly? Do you feel the same way, but you admit that it probably is a silly way to feel? Are you just mad? Are you stomping your foot mad that they spoiled the Kraid's in the game? Did you know he was probably gonna be in the game? Is it actually ridiculous to get mad at the idea of someone spoiling Kraid being in a Metroid game? I don't even know anymore. Let me know in the comments. And in the meantime, let's all just sit back and enjoy this picture of Kraid being displayed on the green screen right now. Yep, that's a pretty good picture of Kraid there. Good job, Kane.